G'day, Jimmy. Nice to have you with us.
Hello, Jeff. Good to see you again. Hello, everybody.
Jimmy, when did you first become involved in music?
It goes back a long way, Jeff. I come from a musical family. My parents were vaudevillians, singers, dancers, and storytellers, and myself and my brothers and sisters just sort of followed on from there.
How old were you when you started performing?
About 10. Prior to that, I was mostly always watching and absorbing and observing. And then I would sing a few songs with Dad and sing a few songs with Mum, and in public, at parties and little concerts. But by the time I was 13, I then began to play the guitar, and that really boosted my confidence. So really, between 10 and 13 was the years that I started to think seriously about getting on the road.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from southern New South Wales in Australia. Inland, I was born inland in the land of my mother's people, Yorta clan, on the Murray River. And then in the latter part of my schooling, Mum and Dad moved to the coast, to Dad's people. And so I grew up in both areas of my family. Dad's a Yuan clan person from the coast. So I had the wonderful river inland growing up, and then the coastal hilly parts of the southern New South Wales. So all this was great for my love of the country in a rural sense.
Can you tell us any more about your heritage?
Yeah, I can I can talk a lot about that. Having two distinct tribal backgrounds in my heritage, and beyond that, it's been a wonderful journey of learning and applying oneself to the new life coming around me, growing up in general society, from the community. I took on board a lot of information from people of all walks of life, particularly at school and sport and in the arts. I found that everybody had a culture, everybody had a family tree, and everybody had an interesting story to tell. And I wanted to tell my story in the best way I knew how, just like a lot of other people. There were writers, and there were poets, and there were dancers, and there were singers, musicians. And in my early stage, I thought, gee, if I can do that, I'll feel really part of the whole nation growing up, and I can express myself personally and culturally and artistically. And so all of that was really just building the foundation of my wanting to be a travelling troubadour, if you will.
When did you first hear the song Morningtown Ride?
On radio, of course. I was always listening to radio for songs to learn and just to enjoy entertainment. And the Seekers, our big international Australian group, sang many songs, and that was the one that really captured my imagination, I thought, because I loved being a child, and I loved working with children, and every song that's about or written and performed for children I love. And Morningtown Ride was always in my mind somewhere when I went and sang at school or parties. And the kids would jump in. Not only that, but the adults love it too. And I'm glad that I had a chance to sing that with you, Jeff.
You've been performing for quite a while now. Tell me about some of the highlights.
Numerous highlights. I had some Royal Command performances.
Who was it that you performed for?
The Queen Mother in Adelaide Festival of Arts back in the 80s. No, in the 60s, I'm sorry. And I did some acting in movies, stage and big screen, and awarded different recognitions for my contribution to the nation.
What were some of the awards that you received?
The Mo Award, which we have in our industry, is a humanitarian award, and I got that, and I was also awarded Aboriginal of the Year, and of course gold records and silver record awards. And currently, I've just received what we call the Red Ochre Award from the Australian Aboriginal Arts Board for my contribution over the years, the Red Ochre. And I've got a Gospel Award for my gospel contribution musically. The Gospel Award. I'm getting a doctorate shortly, and
Wasn't there an ARIA award as well?
yeah, I'm forgetting about them all. Just going on looking for the next challenge. But I'm in a wax museum in life size, and I look at myself and that can't be me, And Hands of Fame and things like that. I've realised that I've not been too idle over the years. I've been scoring points along the way, and but the thing I like is I'm giving to a nation that gave me a chance to be what I wanted to be, just a well-liked entertainer.
Now that's amazing that you've won so many awards. How does that make you feel as a performer?
Oh, it does make you feel special, Jeff. It's because you don't set out to get this. You set out to enjoy your life and do what you can with your ability. And when you get wonderful accolades and citations and awards and certificates and medals, you realise that you go on about your business, but a lot of important people are taking note and are putting your name down for your contribution, and it's building up, and it says, gee, your nation appreciates you, and that's a lot to get from a nation. When you think about the nation of people are strangers, yet we're friends in a distant sort of way. And it's the kind of things you expect from family, immediate family. But I look at all Australians and music lovers and entertainers as extended family members. So when they're all saying, well done, Jimmy, I accept what they have to offer, and I accept their compliments and their camaraderie and all those wonderful things. It makes me feel I'm going to do another, and I'm going to put more into what I do. And it's given me a lot of energy and a lot of pride and a lot of ideas of how to keep on keeping on, rather than come to a wall or a dead end and say, well, that's all I can do. I keep being inspired to look for new ways to entertain the public.
Where have you travelled over the years?
Just all over Australia. In what we call the tours, the mini tours and the major tours. I did have a chance with the WOMAD Festival to go abroad for the first and only time, and representing Australia. In the WOMAD Festival, we went to Hanover in Germany, and went to London to perform. I went to Seattle and Singapore, and in between dates of performing, it was kind of a little working holiday. I went to Hollywood and New York and Vancouver. So it was a wonderful trip just to see these places that I've seen on the screen and in magazines all these years. And here I was walking down those famous streets and realising that I've been blessed in many ways with my music to be able to go that far. And when I arrived at London Airport, I think it was Heathrow, and it was odd and strange over the intercom. Would Mr. Jimmy Little please come to the information area or something? And there's millions of people walking around, and Jimmy Little in the air, and nobody knows me here, And it just felt wonderful and crazy to be walking around the airport in London and have your name, called out. And a similar thing happened when I went to New Guinea, just off from Australia. I got off the plane there. I was performing there one weekend, and this little child's voice sang out across the tarmac, Jimmy Little, you know, where I'd never been there before. And it was also wonderful and strange. The organisers who had me come to New Guinea was at the airport, and the little girl recognised me. They were from Australia, so they knew me. And Jimmy Little. So those 2 times I heard my name mentioned in a foreign land to walking around Sydney and Melbourne, you know. But those little things, they're little highlights in my life.
You've been playing music for quite a while now. Tell me about your chart success.
My first real chart success was Royal Telephone, a gospel standard from way back that I got a chance to revive, if you will. And that took me to the top of the hit parades and gave me gold and silver and a big recognition, a great boost to my career. Prior to that, I had other minor hits that weren't real chart stoppers, but Royal Telephone was the biggest and not necessarily the best. I look at a lot of things I recorded, and they were great, you know. I come out of the studio feeling this is a hit, you know, and sometimes they don't go anywhere. So I just leave it to the public now. I'll do my best in the studio, and if it goes to the top, fine. If it doesn't, it's going to go to the people who know what I do and enjoy that.
Do you still travel and perform?
Not as much as before, Jeff. I love touring. I love meeting people. I love performing. I'm a kidney patient now, on dialysis, and I'm on the transplant list. So it's slowed me down quite a lot, energy-wise and medically wise. I have to make time for that now, but I'm still going across the nation on weekends, or a day here, a day there, and I'm coping so far. My doctors are very happy with my medical treatment in the interim while I'm waiting for a transplant.
You're involved in education. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, as I was saying before, I'm interested in children getting a good start in life, and education is one of the important things that children must have, formal education, that is. And in my countrymen, the Aborigine, a lot of us have missed out on education to give us choices in life. So the government invited several well-known identities in the community to consider going to schools and having a little talk and a little lecture and inspiring them to be more attentive with school. So I'm one of the 17 ambassadors that go across Australia visiting schools by invitation, talking to the parents and talking to the school staff about ways and means of encouraging children to stay at school longer for better education. And in my little lectures, I give musical performances as well, and it's all part of the art program. So I enjoy all of that, and I just want to keep on inspiring others to do their best.
We've been so honoured to have worked with you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jeff, for inviting me. It's good to catch up with the Wiggles again, and I thank you very much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, nice to say hello to you.
Hello, Joy. Now, you're a singer and a songwriter. When did you start singing?
Oh, I think I started singing when I was about 8 or 9 years old, you know, and we were living south of Sydney at the time. My father was a school teacher. We moved around a good bit, and I used to do quite a lot of singing, vamped to a steel guitar my parents had, and then they had me taught to play guitar. Had a little tiny one made for me. I've still got it, actually. And of course, once I started singing and playing guitar, my sister sort of always had the idea that whatever you can do, I can do, probably do better. So she got into the act with a ukulele. So we began singing together quite a lot around, you know, just locally, that sort of thing. Then later when we moved to Sydney, we began doing local shows, you know, even though when we were just still at high school. After that, we went on to recording for a rodeo label and running our own radio show in Sydney on 2KY every Saturday night. So that's how I got into singing.
When did you meet Slim?
Met Slim about 1950, I think it was, and had come down to Sydney to do some shows for the same chap that we were doing a lot of shows with, a man called Tim McNamara. And Tim said, well, now we're going to be doing a lot of shows and a bit of touring, and you should meet the other people who are working in the show. So he brought us all out to his place in the afternoon, and then we were going to go to the showboat that night. It was a big ferry on the harbour where they had entertainment. So that's when I first met Slim, and we were doing all the same tours and shows, that sort of thing. He was down here recording for Regal Zonophone, so that's how we got together. We're all working together.
Now, when did you marry Slim?
In 1951. We married in 1951, and we ran quite a few shows around Sydney for a while, and then we went on the road in 1954.
Slim is a famous musician in Australia. Can you tell me about some of his achievements?
Yes, he had a very long recording career. He was the only singer in the world that had recorded, I think, for the one record company for 60 years. But he was also the first Australian to receive a gold record. He was the first Australian to ever have an international record hit. He was the first singer in the world to have his voice beamed to Earth from space, from the Columbia shuttle. And he really, he was awarded more gold and platinum records here in Australia than any other Australian artist. And he has a catalogue of 107 albums. So he did quite a lot, but apart from that, he toured all of Australia, all the outback, as well as all the big cities. And people seem to think of Slim as a particular mate of theirs, whether they'd met him or not. I think that was one of the greatest achievements of all.
Did Slim enjoy singing with the Wiggles?
He had a great time. I think he wasn't quite sure of what to expect to begin with, but he ended up having a really nice time, because they were good friends, weren't they? By the end of the day, I think that Slim was able to sing I Like to Have a Dance with Dorothy all the way through without a mistake.
What did Slim's audience think about him singing with the Wiggles?
We'd go on tour and we had lots and lots of small girls and boys coming up and wanting to see Slim. One little girl was very, very serious. She said, "Oh, Mr. Dusty, you're a very good dancer." Slim was tickle pink with that.
How would you describe Slim for those that didn't meet him?
A very ordinary Australian. I think that's why Australians don't like too much of the star quality, I think, as you fellas would know. And I think that Australians found that Slim was someone they could relate to, and from letters and calls that we used to get and people coming to the shows, honestly, they felt they could talk to him about anything. He was very approachable, and what you saw with Slim was what you got. He was just an ordinary Australian. He's calling himself just an ordinary Australian bloke.
Do you still sing and write songs?
I haven't done any writing much since I lost Slim. I hope to get back to it. I did write one, especially for Anne. I finished one, actually, that I had written, and she found the words and said she'd like me to finish it for her. So I did get down to do that, and I'm hoping to begin writing again.
Thank you for sharing Slim's stories with us. Now, in recognition of Slim's work on It's a Wiggly Wiggly World, we'd like to present you with this award for sales in Australia and worldwide.
Oh, Jeff, thank you. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Oh, look, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad everyone's enjoying Slim's music, Jeff.
Excellent.
Bye.
Hi everyone, it's Jeff Wiggle here. Now it's time to talk to our good friend Christine Anu via the Wiggly satellite. Hi Christine, can you tell us where you're from?
Originally I come from the Torres Strait Islands, which is up past the pointy bit of Australia. In between Papua New Guinea and the pointy bit is the Torres Strait Islands.
What was it like growing up in the Torres Strait Islands?
It was lots and lots of fun. We didn't have playgrounds, but we went swimming all the time, and we played sandcastles on the beach, and we built a lot of humpies and cubby houses to play in, and we collected a lot of shells, just like Dorothy likes to do.
Can you tell us about the song Tabanaba?
Tabanaba comes from the eastern Torres Strait Islands, from an island called Stephen Island, and it's about going down to the reef and fishing and jumping in the dinghy and having a good fun time splishing and splashing around in the water.
Can you tell us about the actions in the song?
The actions go with the words, and it's just so that there are lovely little actions to go along with the pretty little words.
Do all the songs from the Torres Strait Islands include actions?
Lots of songs from the Torres Strait Islands include actions. There are two types of dancing styles. You can sit down, like we do in Tabanaba, to dance, or you can stand up, using instruments like a rattle and different types of things representing stars for navigation and storytelling, for fishing, and different sorts of things like that. So you can stand up dance or sit down dances, and you also have teams for boys and for girls. It's lots and lots of fun.
Can you tell us a little bit about your career, Christine?
My career started out as a dancer. I wanted to teach my cultural dances from the Torres Strait Islands to all of the audiences like you out there. And then from that, my interest grew into singing. And then I got signed to a record company and I started recording albums. That's when I went on to start doing TV, acting on television, and in movies.
Wow! Can you tell us about some of the movies you've been in?
I've been in movies like Moulin Rouge and The Matrix Reloaded, where I have a very small speaking part, and that was a lot of fun to do. Very exciting. I like doing movies.
Thank you, Christine. It's been great speaking with you.
Oh, and as we say in the Torres Strait, Yalwar.